Hello, and welcome to Atlanta's premier love, sex, and relationship website, Lip Service Lounge. I'm your host, LaDawn, and today is January 2nd, 2014, the second day of the new year. Today is the day that we generally start working on those New Year's resolutions. We're typically not able to start on New Year's Day because many of us are still recovering from New Year's Eve, and you can't begin those new diets or exercise programs because we have those huge meals that we start off to celebrate the new year with. So January 2nd is typically the day of reckoning, the day that you push the go button. So I hope that all of you woke up this morning refreshed, energized, with the right attitude, the right mindset to go after the life that you want, the life that you feel you deserve, to make those changes that you want to make in your life. I wish all of you success, and just know that commitment and hard work will get you to the end of your goal. On holidays, I typically send out text messages to family members and close friends. Well, I decided not to do that on yesterday because I wanted to share my message with you all. I knew that it was problematic and that I started receiving text messages from those family members and friends asking what happened to my message. So here I am today. And since this is the time that we start thinking about how we're going to do things differently or in a new way or improve things, I just wanted to put something out there for you to think about, to change your perspective on things that happen to you that appear or seem to be negative. So what I wanted to talk to you about was a phrase that I heard many years ago, and the phrase was golden horseshoe. Well, the first time I heard this phrase, I was sitting in an employee orientation for the Home Depot, and in that orientation they were playing a film that discussed how co-founders Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank began the Home Depot. Well, Bernie and Arthur were both employees of the Handy Dan Improvement Center. One was the CEO and the other was a vice president. So they thought that they were going to have very long, lucrative careers with Handy Dan Improvement Center. Well, in 1978, they were both abruptly fired. So this was a blow. This was like getting hit in the head with a horseshoe. But instead of wallowing in it, they decided to do something different. They sought out financial investors, and they were lucky enough to partner with Ken Langone, who was able to help them secure funding to start what is now known as the Home Depot. So they took this opportunity to create a business of their own, which they grew from nothing to over a $30 billion business. So everything that happens to you that appears to be negative or hurtful at first could very well be your golden horseshoe, your opportunity to make a change or make a difference in your life or the life of someone else. And this term really began to hit home for me over the past year or so. Like I said, I've been dancing with that term or that phrase in my head for years, and I've often used it, but it took on a different connotation, a different meaning for me within the last year. And that I'm here today because of horseshoes that were placed in my path throughout the course of last year. I was an HR professional, and I worked in the HR industry for well over 15 years. My last place of employment, I worked there for over 8 years. And as an HR professional, your job is to keep the company or the organization that you support legally compliant, ethically sound, morally sound. And I had several clients that I worked with that, for lack of a better phrase, wanted me to turn the other cheek and allow them to do things that I knew were wrong or that would not benefit our employees or the organization as a whole. And because I took the stand to make sure that they did things the way that they were supposed to be done, there was a lot of opposition that was built up with a few of the clients that I supported. And I was very confused for some time because I didn't know why these individuals would be oppositional when my job was to make sure we were doing things right, and also my job was to make sure that the people that work for them, that their best interest was at heart, and the customers that we supported, that their best interest was at heart. So in order to make sure that was happening, I had to do the job that I was hired to do. So there was one horseshoe after another in the form of some of the clients that I supported. I was fortunate in that I was able to step back and step out of the situation and just kind of look at what was going on and take a moment to just determine what I was going to do in the situation. And it was very puzzling because a lot of these clients were individuals that I'd helped numerous times on a professional level as well as on a personal level. Some of these individuals were people that I called to give words of encouragement from time to time, that I called to check up on outside of work if they were ill. Again, that helped them in numerous ways, even developing career paths. So I was quite shocked, to say the least, when they were the individuals that were throwing or planting the horseshoes. But I began to look at the situation once I was able to step away from it and figure out that God knows me best. He knows in order for me to move and do what I'm supposed to do, He has to make me incredibly uncomfortable. He has to make me want to change the situation. And so these people He put in place in order for them to make me uncomfortable. So I had to stop viewing these people as potential enemies and stop wondering why they were doing these things, and realize that they were selected to do certain things, to put certain things in place, to orchestrate certain situations, unbeknownst to me at the time, in order for me to be uncomfortable enough to move into my purpose. So I'm so very, very thankful for each and every one of those individuals, because if they were not selected to do what they did, then I would not be here today. So I'm living a completely different life today than I was a year ago. And I'm so thankful for the horseshoe that turned out to be a golden horseshoe for me. When I was stepping away, or when I stepped away during that time, I was able to have many conversations with God and say, I really want to be working at my purpose. I really want to be doing what I'm passionate about. I really like to be able to be the master of my time and be able to do the things that I want to do. I really would like to be able to help people to the level that I know that I can help them. Heck, I even like to be able to walk my dog anytime I wanted to. And all of those things that I was in conversation and prayer with Him about during that time came to fruition. So again, I couldn't be more thankful in that, any time of the day I can walk my dog. Anytime that there's an event at school, I don't have to check with work to try to get the time off. I can go. If my son calls for any reason to say that he needs something, I don't have to figure out how I'm going to make it happen on my lunch break and get back to work on time. I can do what it is I need to do for myself as well as my family. And I'm in a position now to actually be able to work with the number of clients I'd like to work with rather than turning people away. So every horseshoe that's thrown at you in the midst of the action is very, very painful, can be very, very hurtful, but a lot of times it's just God speaking to us or positioning us to grow or to get to the next level, to put us in a state of uncomfort, non-comfort, discomfort, in order for us to break out of where we are to get to somewhere new. So I challenge you to start thinking about those individuals that are placed in your path, or those situations that happen to you as negative situations or as enemies, but start thinking about these individuals as potential blessings, because they are sent to change something in you, to change something for you, or to change something about you, to get you out of a space that God has probably been trying to move you out of for some time, but He continues to up the ante until you're uncomfortable enough to move. So stop thinking of everyone that comes your way with negative energy, that comes and is the bearer of bad news or a bad situation, as a curse or as something that you just can't handle. Stop, take a moment and breathe, and look inward to see what God is trying to change in your life. It can make all the difference in the world. And golden horseshoes can come in many forms, in the loss of a job, in the loss of a partner in a relationship, in the loss of a loved one. Just many things can appear as horseshoes. But again, I challenge you to rise and think about them from a different perspective. For instance, if you have someone that is potentially harmful to your relationship, I'll say a mistress, don't automatically look at the mistress as the person that's at fault or the enemy to your relationship. I'd like you to stop and take a moment and say, what is going on in my relationship that this person that's out there could potentially capture the attention of my mate? What is going on in my relationship that makes it possible for that door to even be open? What am I not doing? What are we not doing? What are we doing that could potentially cause this situation to turn into something that could be catastrophic for our relationship? When things happen like that at work, when you lose your job, I like for you to think, well, this was something that I certainly didn't plan on, but now that I'm here, what can I do? Was it a situation that I didn't need to be in? Was there other opportunities for me to grow in a different direction, and I never would have taken those opportunities had this rug not been swept from under my feet, had this horseshoe not hit me in the head and caused this painful discomfort, caused this fear? So look at individuals that come into your life or situations as blessings rather than enemies or curses. Please understand that everyone that you encounter on your personal journey, whether you interact with them for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or 55 years, all serve a purpose. Each and every one of them. God places people in our paths in order for us to grow, learn, and do something with. There's no stagnation in any encounter. Every encounter serves a purpose. So again, I'm just challenging you for those encounters that appear negative to look for the positive and turn it into your golden horseshoe, your golden opportunity. There are so many relationships that we exist in, whether they're romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, that are probably not the most beneficial relationships, but we deem that they are necessary in the way that we're in them at the moment. And God is continuously trying to give us signs or make things happen to show us what is wrong or to give us opportunities to move in a different direction. But we typically don't. As I stated before, He continues to up the ante until we get the message. So when those situations kind of happen within your relationships, where you get clues or messages that this may not be the right relationship, maybe because it's not the right time, maybe because it's not the right person, or maybe because it's not the type of relationship, the right type of relationship. You can have your eye on someone as a romantic partner, but they may be in your life to simply be a good friend. They may be able to offer a relationship to you on a higher level than what you're holding on to. Or the end of a relationship could be an opportunity for you to grow, because a lot of times when we're in relationships, we are so concerned and engulfed by what's going on in the relationship that we kind of turn a blind eye on life and other things around us. And God will have other work for us to do that He needs us to do. So sometimes the end or the ending of a relationship can cause you to have an internal metamorphosis, to cause you to have an internal awakening, to become self-aware to things that you were not consciously aware of before, that could cause your life to change significantly. These horseshoes oftentimes feel painful, but they could be the answers to your prayers. They could be the answer to your prayers. They could be the door that opens up to your new future. to new opportunities. So again, in this new year, I challenge you to add to your list changing your perspective of horseshoes. Horseshoes do hurt when they hit, but while you're down, take a moment to think how you can change that hurt to happy, how you can change that hurt to things that will improve your life. I challenge you in 2014 to make the change. I challenge you in 2014 to make the change that is right for you. That is all I have for you today. Golden horseshoes. I want you to remember that term. And the next time that something happens to you that causes pain, that causes strife, look at what God is doing in your life to make you uncomfortable, to take you to the next level, to make you make different choices, to make you take different actions, to make you make different or develop different relationships, to free yourself from a space that may not be necessarily beneficial for you. See them as blessings. See them as lessons. As always, with love, much love. Until next time, remember to visit me at www.lipservicelounge and look at all the things that we have to offer out there that could certainly help you in your relationships and in your day-to-day life. Until next time, bye.